Hello, how's it going? I want to post another video on my little set of videos on how I'm putting these IKEA cabinets together. And this is a little bit, obviously everybody's cabinet setup is going to be different, but I want to show you some of the structure that I use to put the cabinets together. So we're looking at, let me come around the front here, make it a little easier to figure out what we're looking at. So this is a pair of cabinets that's going to go over there on that long side of the wall right there. And then there's another cabinet that goes 90 degrees, which is this fellow right here. And so we're actually, in this case, we're looking at the bottom of the cabinet because there's the spotlights. There's the bottom of the cabinet with spotlights. And what I'm doing is I am getting ready to figure out how I'm going to connect these two once they're up in the wall. It's super heavy. They have to be up in the wall in position. So what I need to do is connect these together, as well as, in this case, I had to connect two IKEA boxes together. So what I like to use for that is this stuff. This is called brick molding. This is what it looks like. And basically what it is really high quality. See, this comes out as, sorry if you can't see that. So it says, find what I can actually read. Here's what I can read. So it's 1.25 by 2 inch by 8 feet brick molding. And it's just a really straight, really high quality wood. You use it outside for trim. I like it because it's got enough heft to it to be structural. I don't like using 2x4s to connect these pieces together because 2x4s tend to bow a little bit. Even if you find a really high quality 2x4, I haven't found them to be as straight as brick molding. Plus, brick molding has this really nice beveled 90-degree angle. Not beveled, but really tight 90-degree angle there. And you can see, like, for example, these pieces are all fitting together just perfect. It also has a relief built into it on the back, which I use for glue. So I like this stuff, you know, to make these joints that are nice and square and tight. The brick molding works great for structural work. So you can see these two cabinets, I put them together with some pieces of brick molding that were scrap, and then this long piece along the front. And then on the front, what I did is I attached this face piece, and this is MDF. So I use MDF for the face pieces. This is actually a piece of IKEA cabinet, I think, that I used for this face piece. But once you get done, it looks really nice. These are pre-finished. They've got like a nice primer on there. But what I like about the MDF is it's got a really clean look to it. Wood, it's really hard to make wood look like that. You have to sand and sand and sand and make it look really nice. So, you know, this kind of works. So for the face, it's MDF or even IKEA plywood with the melamine foil on the front. And then for structure, I use this more heavy, it must be a pine of some kind, brick molding. So another thing that I do when I'm putting pieces together, so for example, what I'm setting up is this kind of going to be like a little Lego piece. This piece is going to be a face frame, and I'm going to screw through here, and I'm going to screw into this big meaty piece of brick molding. And that will help me connect this edge to this edge. And, you know, really the wall is keeping it in position, but this just kind of lets me put a couple screws in and tighten it up a little bit. But when I'm attaching two pieces like this, highly recommend you score them. I've done all these little scores with a little X-Acto knife, and then it's really hard to see, but I've scored this too. And then I just use tight bond glue, and I'll put these in position right here, and then I'll glue this, and you'll get a really good, since it's a huge amount of face to a huge amount of face, you're going to get a really tight connection. You couldn't do that if you were like, so for instance, you can't glue something like this little end piece, it's going to fall off. But because I have a huge amount of face material, I'll be able to get a really good bond there without having to do any fasteners through my face area. I don't even, because it's plywood, I really wouldn't want to fasten into it from the back. It's going to probably just end up coming apart. If it was thicker, like this thicker plywood, I have screwed into it, but this is pretty thin. And definitely the MDF, there's no point in screwing into the MDF. It's just going to rip it right out. So for example, here I did screw these in because this is thicker. And if you look on the inside, you'll notice no screws, because I picked screws that stopped before they went all the way through this casing. So, just want to show how I do it. Essentially, the best description I think I could think of this. So this is like an old Wild West village where the houses had that kind of upper piece that makes it look like the building's taller, but it's really not. It's just a facade. So this brick molding acts as a back, and then you put this plywood or this MDF on the front, and it brings the structure up a lot taller. Now this is because I cut it out from I had to bring it down and off the wall to do some lighting. This actually will be overlapped by the crown molding, so you won't see that line at all when we're done. The crown molding will hide all that because the crown molding is going to fit right in the same position. So I'll just put a little caulk right here along the bottom of the crown molding, and it'll look great. So that's how I do it. That's how I set these pieces together, build them as sections, have a way to connect them once they're up in the wall. And then once I put them up in that wall, I'll end up screwing those together. There's a little panel I'll put underneath it. And that's it. And so really just wanted to show how I'm doing the structural work behind the scenes. Again, I am using screws. I definitely recommend, if you use them, use the Torx screws. These are much better quality, much easier to work with. And just take your time and kind of put it together. And I use a lot of glue, a little bit of screws. I haven't really used my pin nailer yet, but I'm going to use that on the crown molding where I have to see it from the front. And I'll do a little video when I do that. But yeah, that's how the structure goes together. So hope that helps somebody out there. All right, good luck.